In 925 BCE, Pharaoh Sheshonk I invaded Retinue, Palestine, and sacked Jerusalem after the Battle of the Bitter Lake. In 720 BCE, the northern kingdom of Israel, home of the 10 tribes, was conquered by the Neo-Assyrian Empire of Mesopotamia under the leadership of King Sargon I, and part of the local population was deported and replaced with deportees from other parts of the realm. In 701 BCE, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, son of Sargon II, invaded Judah, southern kingdom of Israel, so that the Judean people were deported into exile after the fall of Lachish to the Assyrians. In 680 BCE, the prophet Isaiah was killed by the king of Judah, Manasseh, son of King Hezekiah, by sawing his body in half. In 652 to 648 BCE, Manasseh was taken prisoner to Babylon by Ashurbanipal, king of Assyria, because Manasseh joined the Shamash-Shemukhin rebellion. In 648 BCE, Manasseh repented and was released back to Jerusalem. Manasseh began religious reforms and rebuilt Jerusalem and Judah. Josiah, Jeremiah, Zephaniah, and Habakkuk were also born around this time. In 642 BCE, Manasseh died, and King Amon, Manasseh's son, began his cruel 2-year reign. In 640 BCE, King Amon was killed, so his son, Josiah, who was only 8 years old, was appointed king. In 628 BCE, Josiah, aged 20, began religious reforms throughout Judah. He tried to abandon the deviant and polytheistic religious teachings of the 2 previous governments, Amon and Manasseh. Prophet Daniel was born around this time. In 624 BCE, the prophet Zephaniah wrote the book of Zephaniah. He wrote about the Scythian invasion of Judah, the destruction of Babylon, and the coming day of the Lord. In 622 BCE, Josiah repairs the temple, the Torah of Moses is discovered. In 609 to 605 BCE, Egypt controls Palestine and Syria. In 609 BCE, Josiah was killed by Egyptian soldiers in the Battle of Megiddo, so the people appointed Jehoahaz, Shallum, who only ruled Judah for 3 months, because Jehoiakim, Eliakim, was appointed king by the king of Egypt, Pharaoh Necho II, after getting rid of his half-brother, Jehoahaz, who was considered pro-Assyrian. In 605 BCE, the Babylonians invaded Jerusalem, the capital of the kingdom of Judah, which resulted in many of the Judahites being taken to Babylon, including the prophet Daniel. This was the impact of the defeat of the Egyptian army led by Pharaoh Necho II in the Battle of Carchemish by Nebuchadnezzar II from the Chaldean dynasty. In 601 BCE, Jehoiakim attempted to take advantage of Babylon's failure to attack Egypt by rebelling against Nebuchadnezzar. In 600 BCE, the prophet Uriah was beheaded by Jehoiakim, king of Judah. In 598 to 586 BCE, the prophet Jeremiah was tortured and imprisoned by Jehoiakim, which continued until Zedekiah, the last king of Judah, came to power. He was finally freed when the Babylonians conquered Jerusalem. In 597 BCE, Babylonia again conquers Jerusalem. This was in response to the rebellion previously carried out by Jehoiakim. As a result, many Jews were transported to Babylon as slaves or captives, including the prophet Ezekiel and King Jehoiakim, who was still young but managed to rule for 3 months in place of his father, Jehoiakim, who died during the siege. To replace Jehoiakim, Nebuchadnezzar made Netanyahu, Jehoiakim's uncle, king, and changed his name to Zedekiah. In 589 BCE, Judah under Zedekiah's orders again rebelled against Babylon. In 587 BCE, King Nebuchadnezzar again conquered Jerusalem after Zedekiah's rebellion. Zedekiah and the remnants of his army tried to flee under cover of darkness, but they were pursued and captured in the Jordan Valley near Jericho. King Nebuchadnezzar required Zedekiah to witness his own children being slaughtered, before his eyes were blinded. The conquest of the city of Jerusalem this time resulted in the destruction of Solomon's temple or Holy Temple by the Babylonian army, and the mass exile of the population of Judah including Zedekiah to Babylon, which also marked the end of the existence of the kingdom of Judah. After destroying Jerusalem, Nebuchadnezzar appointed Gedaliah as governor of Judah. However, his reign did not last long. He was killed by Yishmael ben Netanyahu, a leader of a resistance group that opposed Babylonian rule. As a result, a group of Jews fled to Egypt, taking Jeremiah with them to escape Babylonian punishment. In 560 BCE, Jehoiakim was released from prison by King Amel-Marduk, son of Nebuchadnezzar II, in the last year of his short reign or the 37th year since the exile. He was given a high position among the other kings who were exiled in Babylon.